Hey, what's up, guys? I want to address a question I got today, and it is a very great question. And even it forces me to think about this long and hard all day today, and I'll get right to the question, which is, what's better to take, just testosterone, say 500 testosterone, or 300 masteron, or 300 testosterone and 200 masteron, okay? So the essence of the question is, why not just run a test-only cycle as opposed to doing a stack of different steroid compounds, okay? Great question. Short answer is, you don't need to necessarily run different compounds when running a low testosterone dose, but I'm gonna do the cutoff at 350, okay? So anything under 350, you can run just test-only cycle for gains and be fine, okay? Now, once you go over 350, this is just my point of view. Like, everybody has their own opinion on this, so some of you might not agree with me, and that's totally fine too. But it's smart to do a stack for a few reasons. One is, why did I pick 350? Just some arbitrary number? No. It's because personally, it's around that time where I start to notice estrogenic effects. So the secondary compound you add helps mitigate that estrogenic effect, and even in the video that he was responding to, I outlined all that. So I don't want to beat a dead horse on that regard. Like, I just want to get that out of the way because there's other ones that people don't consider. I just want to get the obvious out of the way, that you're going to start running into higher estrogen levels because of higher amounts of testosterone you're doing, because estrogen is a derivative of testosterone, and there's other derivatives too. Like DHT, you're going to have unwanted levels of things that are that testosterone converts into. Okay, I'm just going to turn my light off here for a sec because I don't want to get pulled over for having my light on. Okay, but you can still see me and listen to me. So there's that, which estrogenic effects, gyno, blah blah blah. You know all about that by now if you're watching this video. If you don't, just go watch a video on too much estrogen, what that does to the body. Second, though, here's the thing. So there's like a family tree of different compounds of steroids. I made a video on this the other day. There's the testosterone based one. So there's testosterone, equipoise, I would consider under that a testosterone derivative, and as well D-bol and whatever else. But stick with pure testosterone because that's what our body produces. That's what our body metabolizes as well. And then you can add on something like EQ on top of that, which has a lot lower androgenic effects, but around the same anabolic effects. So you could run. On his example, you could run 300 test and 200 EQ and have the same anabolic effect with, not quite, but like almost half of like the androgenic effect, right? So why not stack it then? Because the end result is what you want, the anabolic effect. You don't want the dirty, what's called quote dirty, is the androgenic effects, okay? Estrogenic effects. So that's EQ is a testosterone based one. The more ideal, which I recommend as the secondary stack, is a DHT one. Masteron, Primobolan, Anavar. Okay? I wouldn't recommend Anavar as a secondary stack. That'd be more of a third stack, but it's still, regardless, of DHT. Now, why that? Because there's a few reasons. One is this counters the estrogenic effect. Okay? Simple. I stated this many times in a video, and that's pretty common knowledge. What's not so common knowledge is we have different receptor sites throughout the body, and the DHT derivative ones initiate, like in certain tissues, initiate growth through these receptor, bind to these receptor sites where testosterone alone doesn't necessarily. So, even though you might look at the anabolic rating, because that's what people are hyper focused on, and myself included in some regards. I'll turn this light back on in my neighborhood now. It's not everything. So you have to incorporate things like that, like that there's different binding sites for different types of molecules, and the DHT derivative molecules bind to different receptor sites as does the NOR19 ones, okay? That's why I believe NOR19 ones, such as nandrolone and trenbolone, they bind to like neurological ones more, because then it affects neurology and it changes behavior and makes people paranoid and things, have anxiety. Because there's different receptor sites for different molecules throughout the body. It's like there's different, like a USB key, USB hard drive. Say that there was different size ones with different pins and things. One might fit in, one might not, right? And then once it fits in, it downloads everything from that key onto the hard drive. Well, in like a metaphorical sense, symbolical sense, the same thing happens with these androgens, because they travel all through the body, and then they'll bind to different areas, tissues of the bone, the connective tissue, the muscles, neurological tissue, digestive system, all over, everywhere, right? Your skin, your organs, everything. Like, that's why you produce more sebum. All systems throughout the body, okay? Targeting all different types of tissues and organs and everything, okay? There's all different types of receptor sites there. I'm kind of being winded about this, but I just want to stress the importance of that, is why it's better to stack, because there's certain compounds that trigger different sites better than others. The other obvious one, other than just the estrogenic effects, is like things like DHT stop bloating as much. So if you were to do testosterone alone, it holds more water, okay? Meanwhile, you counter that, unless you want to look like Michelin Man or something. It's like, well, look at all these gains I'm getting. I just put on 30 pounds of muscle. No, you put on 30 pounds of water, bro. 20 pounds of water probably, or something, amongst other things, glycogen and such. So what keeps that in balance is adding like a DHT, like Masteron is like what I would recommend. Masteron's the one I would recommend, because you could either run it lower or higher depending on what you're trying to do. Run it higher if you want to be more cut, or lower if you're and add other things like NOR19s if you want to be bulky, like a like nandrolone or something. And then the last thing I'm just going to mention, because I want to focus on the important things. There's a few things I can mention, but I just want to focus on the most important thing. Each steroid has a different characteristic, okay? First of all, each steroid class each branch does the testosterone, the dihydrotestosterone derivatives, and the NOR19s, okay? And within those, there's ones that each have their own characteristics. So when you stack different compounds, and then again, this is going out when you're taking more than over, maybe over a gram of gear in total, it's like you want to pair things that have synergistic qualities, or ones that eliminate the other negative qualities, such as I already mentioned, bloating with testosterone. But also each one might have its own unique quality that you want to. That's the whole point of leveraging it in the first place. Okay, that's why we leverage different compounds, and we in doing so, some are more safer than others. So obviously, we're going to stack things that are safer but work. That's, I believe, the new science and frame mind of guys, especially I think even now with professional bodybuilders. I can't speak for them because I'm not one myself, but I know a lot of them are going the more simple, safer route, using safer compounds, but obviously a lot more of it. So we leverage safe compounds that are effective, that have qualities that we want to utilize. Perfect example for me right now, Anavar, really high anabolic rating. You get shredded off it. You even cut a little bit on it. Beautiful compound. That's what I'm leveraging right now. And amazing strength gains. Like within 2 weeks of taking it, I've noticed huge strength gains. Nandrolone, NPP, what I take, the effects it has on your joints could be one thing. The strength and size things, much more than other ones. You don't need much of it. You take a little bit of it on top of your stack, you're going to get strength and size gains. You feel your muscles fill out a bit. Nandrolone, great cutting agent, but it's just a great agent all around. You dry out, you more muscle definition, more muscle hardness. That's the characteristics there. And to go back to testosterone, it has its qualities and characteristics too. But the main reason why we take testosterone is not necessarily for the anabolic effect, although there is one, and I'm not gonna neglect that. It is one, but not the only one. It's for the estrogen. And estrogen is responsible, when you pair it with things like HGH, which I'm not even going to get into this video because that's just about steroids. It pairs with that to IGF factor 1 at the receptor site to proliferate new tissue growth. So, estrogen good, actually, in the right amount, just like everything else. It's all about balance. And I guess I'll sum this video up in conclusion. Like, why we stack compounds is just bring balance to everything. That's what it is, as opposed to just adding one thing. The teeter-totter goes a little bit lopsided, so we add other things that help the teeter-totter come back to an equilibrium. And equilibrium is homeostasis, and that's the homeostatic balance. Even though we're doing drugs and drugs tax the body, it's the balance that in a stack, a balanced stack, that is going to be effective and safer. So I'll leave it there. If that answers his question, it's a good question again. It's actually, there's a lot more to it. There's probably a lot more things I could even get into now, and a lot more things I'll probably think about in the next day on this. So thank you for your question. This is why I love people commenting on my videos, questions, concerns, feedback, want me to elaborate on things, especially guys who are watching my videos because they're just getting into this type of thing. I'd like to point you in the right direction, to point you in a smarter direction, because obviously if you're watching my videos, you're thinking about doing it in the first place. So I'm going to show you the ways that are that is going to be get the results you want without taking a stack that's going to ruin you. Because I've seen so many people on my page say they're going to take the most ridiculous stack, and it just doesn't make sense. So thanks for watching, guys. Much appreciated your comment. Have a great night. Peace.